Welcome back to American Medicine Today. So a New York surgeon has filed a federal lawsuit challenging the No Surprises Act, a bill that was passed in 2020 which barred doctors and hospitals from billing patients for fair rates if they are out of network, a measure which punishes doctors while pandering to insurance carriers. Joining us is Dr. Daniel Haller, general surgeon in Rockville Center, New York. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Haller, tell us about this lawsuit you filed against the so-called No Surprises Act.
The lawsuit is basically about protecting patients' access to health care.
Okay.
The doctors and physician groups that were involved in creating the No Surprises Act were doing so to protect patients. It was made to protect patients from large bills in which the insurance companies paid X, the doctors charged Y, and there was a difference between the two, which we're going to call the balance bill. Mm-hmm. And that balance bill, by law, the doctors were required to send to the patients. So right. We were all very happy with the idea of a No Surprises Act. Correct. To take the patients out of the equation, right? You get sick, you come to the emergency mm-hmm. room, you don't want to have to worry about who's in your network, who's out of your network. You want the care that you deserve to get. Of course. And you want to know that you're not going to go bankrupt from it. Mm-hmm. And I and all of my colleagues agree, we never want to bill patients. The law requires us to, mm-hmm. but as far as we're concerned, we'd rather waive those balance bill charges. The government put together this statute in order to protect patients from these balance bills. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, what it also did was it created an economic price ceiling to what the insurance companies mm-hmm. have to pay. Right. Meaning, historically, they would pay the usual and customary rates for that region because we were out of network. We didn't sign on mm-hmm. to accept smaller charges. The insurance companies now, according to the regulations from this NSA, they only have to pay what's called the QPA, the qualifying payment amount. Mm-hmm. And that really is the in-network rate. Right. So instead of paying out-of-network rates, now the government has said, we're going to protect the patients. We're not going to allow you to balance bill them, mm-hmm. but we're going to tell the insurance companies that they only have to pay their in-network rates. So this has a lot of ramifications to access to healthcare around America at this point.
Are surprise bills that big of a problem? And obviously your lawsuit is to eliminate this No Surprises Act. To me, that would seem like a good thing, the act itself. Could you further clarify?
The way most docs do and handle balance bills is that they utilize the balance bill to negotiate with the insurance company. It's their leverage to say, well, if you don't pay us more, we're going to go after your patient. Where in reality, 99.9% of the docs that I know, they take the balance bill, they send out 3 invoices because legally they're required to, and then they say, listen, this is too much of a business expense to go after these patients, we write it off.
The insurance company will force the physician to accept whatever they decide to pay. Unless we, once for all, start to negotiate with the insurance clearly what is our situation and what we will accept, not what they will accept, we will be always in the same situation and the patient will be billed.
So let's talk about the ramifications, okay? Yes, we need to protect the patients from these balance bills in which the insurance companies are refusing to pay. Mm-hmm. I have no qualms with that. New York State actually had the best, until Kathy Hochul destroyed it, they had the best surprise bill law in which the patients were free from any balance billing. A patient hit the emergency room, you were not allowed to bill them a dime. And the insurance companies were mandated to pay something called the usual and customary rate. And how was that created? By a nonprofit organization called Fair Health, which came up with the usual and customary rate that the insurance companies were required to pay. What's happening now is because docs around New York, especially New York, are seeing decreases in revenue, they are now refusing to cover emergency services in the hospitals. You cannot find a plastic surgeon in Long Island that will come in to suture up a child at any point during the day. They're just not doing it anymore. It's not worth it for them. There are anesthesia groups that have pulled out of hospitals in Long Island, which you can't have a hospital without anesthesia. You can't do surgery without anesthesia.
No.
So the access for patients to get not just quality healthcare, but any healthcare is going to dramatically change over the course of the next few months. And that's because docs are now saying it is no longer worthwhile for us to provide emergency services to hospitals. So this is a big public health concern. In America, we do not have a health care problem. We have a health insurance problem.
Thanks to the AMA.
I totally agree with that. And unless we really put the direction of our fight against the insurance company and we create a system that we have politically or federally protected physicians, they need to be able to treat the patients, but also they need to be able to be paid for the services. And
I agree.
And when we have a bill that the patient cannot pay, the insurance company needs to be responsible because the profit of the insurance companies are enormous. There's no reason why they're going to continue manipulating the healthcare in their benefit.
They are not just enormous. United Healthcare boasted in Q1 of 2022 record-breaking profits of over $5 billion.
Yes.
$5 billion. That just so happens it coincides with January 1st, 2022, where the No Surprises Act kicks in, and now all of a sudden they're decreasing the payments they're paying the doctors for the services provided.
Yeah, and they're pocketing all the funds and ruining doctors' lives by dwindling them from practice. So
United Healthcare has a $500 million lobbying fund.
as we all know, the AMA is in the pockets of the insurers because they created the code that all the insurance companies use. Why aren't they looking out for the best interest of the patient and the doctors?
So the AMA, I believe, was part of fashioning the statute. The AMA actually had their own lawsuit against the federal government. Could be from internal pressures. It's unclear. But the group that I was representing, we weren't going to only allow the AMA to have a lawsuit because we do not always believe they have our best interests in mind. Right. So we felt that we needed to file our own lawsuit to tell our own story.
The insurance company may have all the lobby that they want. We have the knowledge and we have the group. What we don't have is representation. We don't have an American Medical Association who represents us. We've lost that one on the 50s, and from that time on, we lost also medicine. So we need to organize in a certain way that we create another responsible American Medical Association to protect the physician's rights. That's all.
We go into medicine for the patients. We cannot lose sight of the fact that it's really about the patient. Yes, we need to have the ability to take care of them, but what's going to happen over the next few months, I fear, is the access to healthcare for patients, for people, is going to change. And there's going to be a lot of bad outcomes because of that.
Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel Haller, for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly. Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. We'll see you next Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. And if you'd like to see a previous episode, check out the American Medicine Today page on YouTube. Thanks for watching.